Chapter 6. The Old Theatre. The stage was set. Otro's so-called free stage was the podium of an old theatre. Time had taken its toll, and the fast attempt of cleaning a couple of hours before the gig gave a melancholic mood to this huge wooden cage. Looking at the ceiling, Jake had queries about what kept it all together and prevent it from falling down and causing the next headline. The theatre was enormous. Otro thought that the many empty seats would push the performers to impress more. The old glory of this hall made it look like these performers would finally wake up from their unknown slumbers and word their phrases as keys to future dreams. The back door where the artist would hide to smoke was used more than the public that night. Even the free entry didn't change the attendance. Somehow, Otro had managed to arrange a private show where only he would be a spectator. A private but public show. When the spotlight finally uncovered the dust settling on the shiny mic, the microphone in the middle of the oak stage looked like a hostile snake waiting to strike the slammers with lesser faith. Jake found himself in the loge, where he shared with 9 other street poets. Throw a blank paper in that room, and a fight would ensue. Never spill ink. Maybe it was Jake's charisma that made them act like this. His black shirt and red bow tie was no match for the tons of plastic jewelry this room was succumbing under. 8 practicing mouths were moving like razor blades around him. His timid ears took up some phrases about bitches, N-words, and something or someone called a po-po. He stood up with a thought to leave and to never come back. But he was stopped in his track. "You're up." Within the 2 seconds that separated him from the enlightened circle around the mic, he forgot every single thing he conceived for the event. The ideas he had were like the dust particles floating around in that scary white circle in front of him, futile and evasive. The mic lay on the ground and reinforced the screeching of the floor under his weight while he was walking towards it. His knees shivered, echoing his lips, but the sound they were supposed to produce was absent. He reached for the resting reptile, and at once he felt its teeth in his right hand, petrifying his arm. He almost chewed his gums to pieces, but before he could swallow, the front door of the still empty hall opened and the voice he was chasing walked in. She walked in. It's hard to describe how Jake felt at that precise moment. Try to compare it to standing under a waterfall and knowing each one of the drops that hit your head is a different song title. A different word, a different page, a different recipe to disaster. Things went fast after that brief pause, like if this story skipped its own sentence in this singular paragraph.
No sound, no music, one voice, no choice. Tried to tell the story, but in the end, it's all noise. No street, no stress, one heat, no greed. Want to have a flower before having the seed. Gave up on a life to start another one, lyrical suicide undone. Now I see where the strands of mine should meet, a sliding knot, call it a pulled feet. So the past won't go and experience will follow. Give me a timeline and I would erase the final arrow, understanding now before dying tomorrow. Go. Try to catch up before they slit your throat. Too many people have perished because talking. I imagine them when I'm still walking. Tell me what would this world be if Gandhi, Lumumba and so many others were reality. My mind is not at war, and I don't lead a revolution. But what is perfect if there is no confusion? Let a voice be a collective library. Remember that speech is too often erased by artillery. Take this music back to its hard roots. Black slaves singing in pain while their own boots saw them as usual goods. Is it necessary to forget to wish? Is it necessary to regret to be unselfish? See, when we close our eyes for that one girl who cries, one reason, actually no reason, why should they fight every season for water when we care about dark matter? Regretting matter is forgetting chatter. Here I stand, talking about every bad thing, but tell me, is there a better reason to sing? I started words to find back a crush, and now I stand here and my words rush, a hush to all that when I see her blush. How can one face bring me to a stage? I'll pull this gentle phage, every fight against race. I found peace, I found my peaceful place. Classical music once played in my head, but I replaced it with what had to be said. I don't spit acid like the others did, but try to invent lyric, not the hysteric, but realistic, that make a frantic fanatic go arctic.
The mic slipped through his fingers, and with a dramatic sound, it lost that endless fight against gravity. The gorillas from backstage had stopped beating their chest to listen to Jake. People who had ultimately entered forgot to sit down, and Otro's eyes were closed. Once opened, it was like a gunfight had happened, and he wanted to know if the coast was clear to come out of this secret hiding spot behind his eyelids. The rifling stopped, not because it had run out of shells, but because the gun was overheated. People forgot the consensus to applaud, and when they finally acknowledged the fact that they were staring at an empty scene, there was no one to applaud to. Jake went backstage. His shirt was soaked by sweat, and his dried up lips felt like a prairie after the passage of a horde of elephants. When his hands finally stopped shaking, the door opened. An expected guest walked in. End of chapter 6.